Welcome to my Friday afternoon Facebook Live, and today we are calling it Fun Fold Friday. I have a really quick, cute fun fold project for you. Just bear with me while I check and see if anybody is coming on here. If you're watching, please pop in and say hello, make a comment and share. Really would appreciate your participation. Anyway, let's get to it. I'm just going to put my camera down. Oh dear, so hard to try and get it straight. How are we doing here? Pretty good, I think. Okay, so here's our Fun Fold card. It is featuring the Have a Hoot bundle. It's so cute. I used this a few times when I was doing Halloween cards back in September. And then kind of forgot about it. But there's actually some really cute little Christmas images in this suite, or in this bundle, sorry. So there's this one here of the lovebirds and a couple of greetings, Merry Christmas, all I want for Christmas is you. There's another little one here with a present in his hands, and then a little family of owls on the branch with snowflakes. So quite a few Christmas options there. And then the set of dies cuts out some labels, and then there are dies for several of the different images. And I just learned today that on December 8th, Tuesday, December 8th, the year-end clear out is on, and this set is not going to carry forward, so it will now be while supplies last. The stamp set is not discounted, but the dies are, I think it's 40%. Don't quote me on that. I will be putting out an email later today with an attachment of what's carrying over and what's closing out. Anyway, let's get to this. It is a pretty simple double Z fold card. So you've got this Z and this Z. So let me show you how I put this together. So we have a card base in Old Olive that is 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored twice. So the first score is at 4 1/4, and then I turned it over and scored it at 2 1/8. Now the reason I did that is the way you should fold your cardstock when it's scored is the indent should be your outfold. So I have an outfold here and an outfold here. So then you get the nice crisp edges that aren't all ragged. If you fold it the other way, you tend to get ragged edges. Excuse me. It's been a very busy day today. So we'll burnish that down really good. We have this piece that I'll come back to in a minute, and you have two pieces of designer series paper that measures 1 7/8 by 5 1/4, and they're going to get attached to the panels like this, so like that. There's another designer series paper piece in here that's it's 3.5 by 2.5. I have a scrap of Whisper White that we're going to stamp on, and a couple of strips of colored cardstock. So the Whisper White one is a 3/4 inch wide, and the Old Olive is about 7/8, and we're going to use these to make our little tag on the front. And then I have a real red die cut using the 3rd largest scalloped circle die from the layering circles. So let's go back to this piece of Whisper White that I showed you. So this actually measures 8 1/4 by 3 3/4. And it's going to get scored twice. Bring in my trimmer here. And same as what I did with the card base, I'm going to score it on both sides. So 2 3/4 from each end. So one side up, let's get that cutting blade out of the way. And then I'm going to flip it over and do 2 3/4 from the other end. So you have the indent here and the indent here, and we're going to make it fold that way. So we've made a Z. So what we want to do with this before we actually attach it to our project, because it gets a little tougher to embellish after it's actually on the cardstock, I'm going to adhere this 2.5 by 3.5 piece of DSP on the center panel. And the DSP that I've used in this project is from Heartwarming Hugs. And then I'm going to stamp a greeting on here in real red. And that's going to say, all I want for Christmas is you. I don't think we have any more real reds, so we'll close that up. We need to put some snowflakes on here. Now the snowflake stamp that I use is a photopolymer one, and it's from the Snowman season, which is actually a stamp set that carried over from last year. And sometimes these carryovers get forgotten because there's so much new stuff that we want to play with. But I have been playing around with this a little bit, making tags, and I've had lots of fun with it. So, Embossing Buddy, not so bad if you forget on a Whisper White, but I just try, if I do it on purpose every time, then I won't forget when I'm on a colored cardstock. So I'm doing 3 spots on the front and 1 on the last panel there. Bring in my silver embossing powder. Sometimes even the Embossing Buddy doesn't do everything. I always keep a little tiny paintbrush handy in case I get some stubborn powder. Okay, so just for a second here, I'll bring in this noisy heat tool and we'll heat these snowflakes up. Oh, hang on. Here we go. Okay, let's bring our card base back in. And we have these two 1 7/8 by 5 1/4 piece of Designer Series paper. And this is actually the opposite side to the piece that we put on the middle. And let's just attach those, shall we? Got something hanging off my adhesive here. It wants to attach itself to my project, and I don't want it to. So we're just going to leave that 1/8 border all the way. Come on, let go. All around, left, right, top, bottom. But here it doesn't matter because our other piece is going to be there. And then this is the panel for the front. Kind of wavy. Now we can begin to assemble our card. So we can decide where we want this to be positioned and glue down our back piece first, because it can be glued down fully, whereas this one cannot. So let's put adhesive on the back panel. And it's going to have a bit of motion, so you know you want it quite secure. So fold it back up like this and slip this over here so that you can center it, and then just press down. And so now this is going to be adhered, but this is still loose. So we know that our adhesive has to be within this area, and we know it shouldn't go past this line. So it's probably easiest to add the adhesive to this piece here rather than to this one and end up with adhesive at the overlap, which is what I actually did on my original by mistake. And there, you've got lots of movement, no adhesive where it's not supposed to be. Now let's build that cute little owl for our front panel and build our greeting. So we're going to use blends today. So I'm bringing in the Memento ink and our cute little couple. We'll just stamp that anywhere. And then I'm just gonna, while that's drying, because when I use blends, I like to give it a minute. Let's bring in our Merry Christmas and our Old Olive ink and our 3/4 inch banner. So what I want to do before I actually stamp, I have the Lovely Labels Pick a Punch that makes 6 labels, 3 each of each design in different sizes. And I'm actually going to punch the end before I stamp. And I've used this one here. And so it just slides right into that 3/4 inch slot there. That really is the key to this working properly, is having your paper cut accurately. Nope. Had it upside down, that won't do. I make this as small as I can. Gotta go. Now, I'm going to also punch our Old Olive label. Now, it's not a size that it's designed for, but this will work. You just have to get it in there and make sure it's straight and equidistant, because it's halfway between the 3/4 and the 1 inch. Then I'm just going to glue that on there and then trim it. Bring in my big scissors. Okay, so let's color our little couple here. I actually did use quite a number of different colors, only because there's some different elements here. So there is some mistletoe here that I don't know whether you can really see what I done with the Old Olive and the light and the dark, but we'll give her a try anyway. So I'm just going to take the pencil tip and put a little line on the lines in the middle of the mistletoe leaves, and then I'm just going to finish coloring over top with the light. It's not going to make a huge difference, but there'll be a little bit of definition there for sure. And then I'm just going to take my real red. Now this is the light because my dark is all dried out. So I might go over it a couple times. And my order won't be here till next week sometime, so. Oh, I see I overshot it a little bit there with the. So I'm going to bring in the color lifter and see if I can push some of that. I over colored that one leaf a little bit, this one too. Okay, Then I've got light mossy meadow, and I'm just going to carefully do these little leaves on this branch. There really isn't a defined branch, but there are these little leaves down here, so I'm just going to give them a little bit of color. And then I'm going to bring in light and dark crumb cake. So I'm just going to take the dark, and where there's a little bit of ruffle, defining the feathers a bit, I'm just going to put a bit of dark on there. And then I'm going to bring in my light and color over top of that to blend it. So it emphasizes the definition a little bit. No real science to this, and I am by no means an expert at working with these blend markers, but I'm usually pretty happy with the result. I know people can do far more amazing things than I can. Okay, and then we'll move on. I think that's him, and I think this is a her. I could be wrong, but that's what I think. She looks like she has her eyes closed. She's so happy with her man. Oops, don't need to go there. Actually, that's okay, because we're going to come back. So I'm going to do the eyelids. Her eyes are closed. And then I'm going to bring in the color lifter and make the eyelids lighter. So they're not white, but they're not as dark as the rest of the bird. So his eyes, I'm using lots of blends here. His eyes I'm going to do in the light So Saffron, just to give them just a little bit of color, just that soft yellow on the bottom half that's open. And then light Pumpkin Pie for their little beaks and their toes. And if you wanted, you could add a little bit of Wink of Stella over top of the snowflakes that are there. This will not show up on camera, I can tell you that, but it would show up in person. A little bit of extra sparkle. And they're colored. Now, to punch this out, I am using my 2 1/4 inch circle punch. And I'm just going to center my cute little couple. Punch them out. And then I'm going to glue that onto this real red scallop circle. Bring our card base back in. I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back of this circle, a cute couple. 3 should be lots. Press them down, make sure that they're adhered really well. And we want to center that. See how the eyelids have lightened up? And now with our tag, it's going to go down here, so it's going to overlap our circle. So we only need a dimensional at this end and a little bit of adhesive at this end. And there you go. How cute is that? So as I said, this is suite or bundle of products is discontinuing at the end of December, actually January 4th to be exact. And at least the dies are discounted. I believe the stamp set isn't at this point in time, but once they are listed on clearance, it's while supplies last. So if you want this, make sure you get it on order as soon as you can. If you order through me, through my online store, and use the host code that's displayed in front of you, there'll be a little something in the mail from me. I will be posting this on my classes and events page on my website at parklandstamper.com. And I will also be blogging this either later today or tomorrow with all the measurements. So in case you've missed them, the measurements will all be there. Thank you so much for joining me with Fun Fold Friday. I plan to be back on Friday afternoons at 2. It might not always be a fun fold, but it'll be something fun anyway. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.